Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and this is a fully finished extra. So Flosstube 37. So fully finished. So yesterday I attended the biscornu finishing class at Cynthia's of Bend with the 1120 crafter group. And so Beth Twist taught us how to finish a biscornu using a backstitch border, which is probably more common with biscornu designs, but there's also biscornu designs that frame the cross stitch with cross stitch borders. And so she showed both ways of stitching those together, how to stitch them. They're a little bit different between the two, not much different. And then I had gotten, I did all my stitching. I did have to back off and frog some stitches. Actually, it wasn't really frogging, it was more like picking out and then redoing. One thing important to know is keep your flosses long. So, and then I have shown these vintage buttons I got at Seattle Recreative, and that's those were not in there yesterday when I finished this. I had basically done all the stitching except for the short piece that you leave open to stuff it, and I had stuffed it, and everybody said I had done a good job on stuffing it with my polyfill, and everything is really firm. And so then I brought it home. I stitched up the opening last night, and then I went to my friend Lisa's house, and we had a fully finishing prep work party at her house. And so we ended up painting and varnishing, or varnishing and painting and varnishing, depending on what we were doing, the wooden pieces to something that I'm fully finishing for pinwhisk. And so then after we were done with the paint and the varnish and everything was on her table drying, I said, hey, I've got to do this button thing. I had Beth Twist tell me some things I still didn't understand. That's my fault, not hers. And so Lisa was like, yeah. So she helped me get started with the buttons. Then I stitched the buttons onto the biscornu, and we tightened it together, and I did most of the knots, and then she showed me what burying the thread meant for a biscornu. And so oh, and also too, I didn't have yesterday when I went to the finishing class, I didn't have with me the right kind of beading needles that Beth Twist recommended when pushing the needle through the biscornu to attach the two buttons and to squish them together so that you get the distinctive dimples in the biscornu. So I had a beading needle that my friend and I were working with, and it was too wobbly. It's a great beading needle that I prefer to use when I'm doing beading with cross stitch, but you need a slightly stiffer beading needle that's long, so it's going to push through the biscornu, and so you can get to both ends of the biscornu and then tighten up the flosses to make it tight and dimpled. So anyway, this is fully finished. It's done. It's probably the worst corner I have. The rest are a little bit better. Didn't mean to show that on the camera, but it's really funny. I came home and I showed the spouse this, and he went on this soliloquy about thinking that this was kind of like weird, and he didn't think he didn't know how it was going to turn out. And then when he saw this, he was just blown away. So anyway, I wish I'd filmed what he said, because it was a pretty interesting thing, but I've kind of summed it up, and he's in his recliner giggling across the room. So Anyway, the other thing about Cynthia's of Bend is that they are going to be, they have remodeled their cross stitch section so that it is more connected with the flosses and with the patterns, and it's kind of like a little cubby area of the shop that's way more recognizable than it was when I was there in May. And so I ended up getting a pattern, which is a Stacy Nash Primitives. And so this is a, I think it's a needle book. Yeah, it's a needle book, and it's a Halloween pattern. I thought it was really cute. And so I picked it up, and you know, that could be a small for a smalls exchange in the future, but I thought it was really sweet. And, you know, I'm kind of, you know, like I'm a sucker for cats, I'm also a sucker for Halloween. And then I picked up the Weeks Dye Works that it called for, and then a couple other Weeks Dye Works that it called for that they had. I still need, there's one other that they were out of stock with. And then a couple that I just thought were fun and I liked. And so while I'm here, I might as well throw these into the bag, and then I can put them in the Halloween project bag where I keep all my Halloween stuff, where I have it kitted up with flosses and or fabric. So there. And I also got a nice card. These are quilts, and the Sisters Mountains. The South Sister is the largest of the three. If I think this is South, hard to tell in this photo. It is a dormant volcano, but the dome is kind of expanding. So we don't think it's going to erupt, but there's still some magma under there. And it's beautiful. I mean, you could see them from the Willamette Valley on the west side of the Cascades in certain spots, like my hometown. And so anyway, that's what I purchased yesterday. It was really fun. I met some new people. I saw some of the same people. And so now I need to send the pictures of the biscornu to Katie, who owns Cynthia's of Bend, because she's going to do like a slideshow of the different biscornus that were done. There were 12 people in the class. And the other news from yesterday is that the 1120 Crafters group is going to have another cross-stitch retreat on August 25th. And it will just be lunch and a goodie bag, but then it'll be a full day of stitching and having fun with friends. And you know, I'm 3 hours away from Bend, and I have to cross the Cascade mountain range to get there, which is not trivial, but you know, you live in Oregon, you go camping and fishing, you're used to that terrain and driving. And certainly Oregon, if you're going anywhere in Oregon, you're used to long drives. So I checked the calendar because I knew that there's, with Acorns and Threads, there's a class that I'm going to on October 4th. They have, Acorns and Threads has a, I think a meet and greet open house on the 11th. And the 18th is their free stitch day. So the 25th, I think I'm free. And so the retreat is on their website and there's 30 places available. Last time, I think they had maybe 17 that were filled. So plenty of spaces. You know, Bend is not, for Oregon, it's not a small city, but it is sort of a small cross-stitch community in Central Oregon. It'd be nice to grow. There was a new person who is getting back into cross-stitch who was at yesterday's finishing class, and her daughter-in-law had driven down from Washington State. And so, yeah, so it's a nice group, and I'm thinking my calendar is free, and I might drive over to Bend. by October, it's even late October, it's not likely that we'll have lots of snow yet and need chains. So that would be a consideration for me, because I don't want to put chains on my car, just because I'm not sure. I've never tried that, so I'm not sure I could. Anyway, so that's a fully finish. Other fully finishes are in the works, sitting on my friend Lisa's dining room table. And next week we're gonna work on another wooden finishing piece for a Christmas gift that I'm working on that you've seen for whips. And then the other thing that I had a chance to work on this week, because I was traveling for work, and then I had the finishing class, and so I got some time to work on the night terrarium bib that I'm doing. And so I'm putting the designs, you know, when I did the Valentine terrarium, I took a slice that was, because basically the size of the height of the stitch area for the bib is about 30 stitches. So that's kind of like the top substrate, and then up to like the top of the mushroom, the top of the flower. So I basically took this flower and moved it to the side. Also, when I did the bibs last year, and like in late spring, early summer, I kind of had put them in the middle. And so this time I decided I'm going to put things on either side, so when the baby dribbles, which they do, in the middle, then there won't be cross stitch to dribble on. The cross stitch will be off to the side. So I have put in one of the flowers and the house, and I'm going to be putting in the mushrooms in order, like are in the pattern here. And then I'm going to be putting the moth over to the other side of the bib, and some of these other flowers I'd like to put in. They're too tall to stitch as directed in the pattern, but I might shrink them and put them like underneath, you know, or yeah, kind of underneath the moth or next to the moth. So, you know, I'd like to put the pink flower in, and so that's what is going to be seen, and maybe put in some of this greenery over to this other side of the bib, underneath or next to where the moth is going to go. So that's the plans for this. Like I say, I made good progress when I was traveling for work and sitting in the hotel room. So that is it for whips and fully finishes and the curated cross stitch collection for this week, which was sort of unexpected, but I did want to support Katie and Bill, who are the owners of Cynthia's of Bend. You know, they are, I don't know if expanding is the right word, but they are trying to serve the cross stitch community in their area. And so if there are any things that you, and they have their cross stitch stuff, some of their cross stitch stuff on their website. I have not got a chance to look at the website and to explore. I do know that the retreat is up there. Katie told me yesterday that the fabrics that they have, they're still at home. They're not in the shop yet, but they are on the website for sale. And she knows that people are seeing them because she had someone from New York State buy some fabric to be shipped to wherever they are. And certainly when tourists come through Bend, because Bend is very popular for summer activities as well as winter sports. So they have people coming through from other areas too. So anyway, please support them, you know, and I did do a video before I went to the class, and I wanted to show, I'm going to edit part of that and then tack it on to the end here. So thank you very much. This is a bonus Flosstube number 37. thank you, and you'll see me talk a little bit in a few minutes, or actually a few seconds. Thank you. Hi. So now that I've got the Christmas biscornu, the cardinal biscornu done with the back stitching, and I've made a few marks at the center so I know where the corners are stitched together into the side of the biscornu. I just got an email from Cynthia's a Bend saying, hey, this is what we're going to have for the roving, which is like stuffing, which is wool. I'm allergic to wool, so I'm going to go get some polyfill at Michael's on Wednesday. I almost got some when I was there getting some other supplies recently, and I thought I really should buy some, but it was a big bag, and I was like, do I really need a big bag? But maybe. So anyway, that's the top, and you can see all the sparkly a little bit. So and then this is the bottom, and I am so done with backstitching in this piece. And I showed the buttons I got at Seattle Recreative that are sort of like vintage, that and I have like 6 buttons, so I'm going to use, I think isn't it 2 per biscornu, so 1 for this one and 1 for the Christmas Narwhal by Tiny Modernist, and then another, I don't know where it will go, because the other biscornu that I was going to stitch that has a lot of red in it is a Flanders Field by Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery. She's the one teaching the finishing class I'm going to go to on Saturday. And so she, it's a really heavy red piece, but it's a big piece. It's like a big biscornu. It's very stitch heavy. It's going to take me forever to do. So I'm thinking these buttons might not be big enough. So anyway, so I decided, well, hey, since I'm going to be using the other half of this white opalescent 32 count Lugana for the Christmas Narwhal, and why don't I get out the Christmas Narwhal? I'm not going to start it till probably December, but I thought, hey, let's go just grab it, and then we put it with the fabric, and it's going to be in a project bag, and it's going to be all together. So in December, Sailor Mare Stitchers, we've done Advent stitching, where we one of our friends in the group likes to wrap things. That would not be me. I hate wrapping. I use reusable cloth gift bags to give presents to family. So, but anyway, so she wraps up all these project bags in something like this, which is generic, and then we open them on Advent days. And last year, I basically said, well, I want to do the Advent stitching project through I think it's January 5th, which is the Feast of the Epiphany, I think that's what it's called, and so, which is kind of like part of the, or maybe I think that's what it was. I don't think it's 12th night, because 12th night's later, anyway. So so what I decided to do is I decided to find the Christmas Narwhal, which I cannot find in my first or second pass through the white dresser. So I got out my Christmas. This was the first place to look. I've shown one of the project bags. This is also from So Much to Love. And this was cute little kitties in sweaters, and with the handmade felt heart, which I have to hide or the cats will eat this. So I basically, it's not as stuffed full as the Halloween one, but it's pretty full. And then I found, as I was looking for the Christmas biscornu, the Narwhal, I couldn't find it, and so I dumped out everything in this project bag. So I'm going to go show you what's in my project bag, and this might be part of an extra, because what I want to do is, you know, you've seen the stitched piece. It's going to be finished on Saturday, and then I was thinking about filming another short, so maybe this will be the short, and then at the end I will show the finished biscornu. So in my Christmas pattern, sort of kitting up some things. It started out with a lot of kitted up stuff, but then it was like, well, no, I'd rather have all the Christmas stuff in one spot, which is not really too organized because I have the Jingle Ball stuff somewhere else in the white dresser, in the same drawer, but in another stack than where this is kept. So anyway, this was something I bought several years ago from the Blue Flower. It's a Cozy Christmas Cat, and I don't recall, I think I got it because I loved it because it's a cat, but I think it was before we got Max and Willow. And I could easily, I know when I did 12 Cats of Christmas, which I'll show in a minute, and I'll pop up the 12 Cats of Christmas things I've done. I did Max as one of the, instead of having a black cat, I restitched it as Max. And so this cat could be Max, sort of. I'd have to change the pink on the ears and the nose, but I could do that as Max. But anyway, Max would never wear a sweater. So anyway, and I have kitted up the specialty flosses. So I don't know a good way of how I'm gonna put this all back. And I guess what I should do is be a little smart about this. I need to show the small things last because they're gonna get shoved at the top of the bag. So let me pull out the larger things, and I still have hopes I'll find Christmas biscornu. So December stitches, this is something I got in Nashville of 2025, and this is called Naughty List, the cat's in the tree. So, because you know me, I'm a sucker for cat patterns, just like Catty Cane by Luminous Fiber Arts. And I also like poinsettias. And so this is Celtic Knot. This is Happiness is Heartmade. And this is Celtic Knot Design Celtic Poinsettias for Christmas. And I really like the design on this. And there's some other things, other patterns on the back. There's a couple in here I think I'd stitch. So I got this. These two I got at Acorns and Threads. This one I believe I got, I'm sure I got at 123 Stitch, which I try to limit my, you know, we could all go crazy at 123 Stitch. So I try to limit when I get things. And this one I saw on, is it Cobweb Cross Stitch? It's an online shop. The owner's in the midst of retiring, so if you go there, you're going to find amazing sales. So I found a Christmas terrarium. I'm also doing the night terrarium, which is also on dark fabric, but I'm doing it on a teal bib and taking like a section of it like I did with the swan terrarium design to make a bib last year. So anyway, those are for in the future. This one I showed in a recent Flosstube, which is Barbara Anna Designs Santa's Trips. I always want to say it's Santa's Rides because he's riding the little animals, but it's Santa's Trips. And it's Santa and Mrs. Claus riding around on different animals. And I saw it at a friend's house that she puts up for the holidays, and I loved it. And then Lola Crow's Creepy Christmas Village Ornament Set. And this is a rather thick book. Make sure. Okay, yeah, it's a thick book with lots of really well like large charts that are easy to read. Okay, so this is 12 Cats of Christmas that I bought several years ago. And unless I point out where I bought something, most of this stuff, or all of this stuff, I think I bought at at Acorns and Threads. So, and I've told the story about buying this pattern in a past Flosstube, about I was headed out the door. I'd already spent a lot of money, and Janine says, "Hey, Robin, did you see this?" And I'm like, damn it. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. The third trip to the cash register on that time, but gotta love my local needle shop because they're awesome. And so anyway, I have stitched I've stitched 2 out of the 3 ice skating cats. So trying to think which ones I stitched. I know I stitched this one, and maybe I stitched the middle one? I don't know, because I totally stitched them in different colors. I stitched them on vintage blue Whisper, which is a Witchell fabric, which I really loved. And after I used a bunch of it, I was like, hey, I'm gonna buy some more of this because it's just such a good sort of neutral for stitching on. And this one also got at Acorns and Threads, Mistletoe Manor Sampler and Smalls. It's cute, and I like the border, and I like the colors. So that's a long-term, like maybe. Oh, and then I have this is, I think it's Holly Jolly Farm. It's part of the Farmhouse Chalk series. And there was a Halloween one that I have in the Halloween project bag, but I bought this one and the Halloween one together, hands-on design. And so, yeah, I liked it because there were like, it was silly. It's like chickens, and there's a chicken like behind with the reins for the reindeer, So it appealed to my humor. So, and also, Janine or someone else, or maybe Lori, I don't remember now, who was telling me at the store that these chalkboard farmhouse chalk designs are meant to be stitched on Aida. So I have 14 count Aida in black at my house in my stash, and when I was sort of destashing last year and getting rid of a lot of my Aida that wasn't colored, I kept the black one because I knew I had stuff I was going to stitch. And then this is another one. This is a Jeanette Douglas Blooming Bouquets number 3 Joyful. Again, I think it's really pretty. So those are all the larger patterns. Now we're going to go to the smaller patterns. Oh, and there is one that is rather large. So, yeah, Mirabilia, Mary Mary. I think it came out just last year. So that I have not kitted up anything with that. I'm not even close to starting it. I actually have kitted up the Pretty in Pink design, which came out last year, and I think I've started kitting up one of the mermaids. But anyway, this is Teresa Kogut up on the housetop. And I'm going to save that because it goes with something else. Okay, I already showed. Oh, I gotta put that somewhere. I already showed that. Okay. So as I was looking for the different Christmas Narwhal, I found Winter Squirrel in my stash, which is sort of Christmassy because it's a tree with acorns, and This was actually the first of the seasonal squirrels by Blue Flower that I bought. Gosh, back like maybe in 2018 or something. I mean, yeah, this came out in 2018. So yeah, I bought this. This was maybe this first pattern I ever bought at Acorns and Threads, and I it was sort of like I was in the store for like 20 minutes and went on overload and had to leave, but I wanted to buy something, and my friend Linda really loves squirrels, and I'll tell a story about her in my other main video that's going to come out earlier this week. So anyway, so I accidentally bought 2 of these at Nashville 2025, which is Mary Mail, and I've told the story about really liking the British mailboxes. And then this one I actually bought at 123 Stitch because this was Christmas mice ornament, and it has a little mouse, button doohickey that goes at the center there of the pillow, and there's also some like red jewels that go in it too. And I liked the pattern, and I thought it was kind of funny that it was mice, because I'm not that fond of mice, but I just thought it was sort of quirky. I liked it. So Evergreens and Peppermint by Stitches by Ethel. I do not believe that I have the buttons. I don't have the buttons for it, but I think I can still get them. So this one came out last year. This is Primrose Cottage Cocoa Quilt. And this one, these 2 I was saving. So this is Bendy Stitchy Trimming the Tree. And a friend of mine has stitched this, so I've seen it. And I think there was a model at the store. So I have seen this stitched, and I liked it. Just, I like the humor in it too. And and then I have another Stitches by Ethel, Christmas Delivery. So this one may have some buttons on it, but I don't have any of those. All right, getting down to the nitty-gritty. Okay, so these are 2 that I kind of saved. Oh, let me show this one, because it's going to go, in terms of the stacking I'm doing, it's going to go next. So Kind and Gentle Woodland Holiday Sampler. I've seen this stitched, and I thought it was hilarious with the animals with the striped pajamas, and I decided that with all the letters and all the things going on in this, you have to stitch it on gray petit point fabric. So it's going to be busy. And yeah, and so that's fitting on my stack. So the other thing I have, and I have, this is from Mojo Stitches, and in Australia, Joanne and Mojo, who is Mojo Stitches, she was saying, I think that's her, yeah, Joanna. She was saying that it's kind of hard sometimes getting in the Christmas spirit, because Christmas is the height of summer in Australia, and it's like you go to the beach, you get sunburned or suntanned, it's hot, you don't, it's not like something where you're going to see a reindeer or you're going to see any snow, unless maybe you went to some part of New Zealand really high up. So she was coming up with some Australian themed Christmas ornaments, and this is Christmas Bells, which is a native Australian plant, and so this is something that blooms during Christmas in Australia. And then this is Mistletoe, which is a Bushland Christmas ornament. I have the Bushland Quaker thread packs, but I'm not sure if this is the same. And this one, You can do it with cottage garden threads, or you can do it, there's DMC and over dye conversion. And so I have some cottage garden threads, but I probably don't have all of them. And then when I got this, it came with Christmas bells, like a kit for this. I guess this is the thread pack. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, so I did get the thread packs for that. Yeah, because I liked it and I was like, I'm going to stitch it as called for. So yeah, so I do have the mistletoe threads in cottage garden threads. So I was thinking that was something else, but nope. All right, and then I have some stuff that's just sort of like little odds and ends. I have Winston the Snowman, which is really ancient. It's from Bent Creek. It's, yeah, okay. So this is the trilogy, which is Twisted Threads, Heart and Hand, and Bent Creek. And that was designed by all the designers with that group. And from 2003, I got it for some tiny amount of money. And I have all the, do I have, yeah, I have all the buttons, and I've got a piece of neutral linen to stitch it on. And so it was just one of those things that kind of came together at this store. I think it might have been clearance. They were trying to, and I didn't get it at Acorns and Threads. I got it like years ago somewhere else. So this is Kesslin's, and this is Merry Christmas Ornament from 2024, and this was a freebie at the shop. And then this is another one I picked up years and years ago, which is Play with Friends. And it is Sam Sarah Design Studio, and if there's a date on it, it's covered up by the sticker. So, yeah, sorry. And then finally, out of the little stuff that's in here, I have a winter holiday Mill Hill kit for this Christmas flamingo. And I have another friend who likes flamingos, so I picked this up thinking I would get this, I would make this for her. And like my friend Linda, that I always pick up squirrels and think I'm going to stitch it for her, my friend Rebecca, like I always pick up flamingos thinking I'm going to stitch this for her, and then I never get around to it. So I'm going to try to stick definitely some flamingos and some squirrels in my lineup for next year, because I'm getting tired of thinking, oh, I should do this for my friend, and then I let myself down by never doing it. So let me see if I can get the things back in the project bag without spilling everything on the floor. Okay, put that there. We're gonna shove the big things in first. And shove the smaller, the medium to small things in next. I don't want things to get smushed or bent, but okay. Let's stick the Mill Hill kit and the other kit. Put the Mill Hill kit to the side because it'll fill in some space without getting things mushed up. So that's what's in a project bag of kitted up and not kitted up things, but seasonal Christmas things. All right.